You see, that's fine as far as it goes, but this time I want you to do it with a bit more grandeur, with some majesty and a soupçon of awe.
Frasier is the very popular US sitcom written by David Angel, Peter Casey and David Lee for NBC. It began in September 1993 and lasted for 264 episodes and 11 seasons, with its completion in May 2004. Frasier is a continuation of the Cheers character Frasier Crane, played by Kelsey Grammer, who returns home to Seattle after his marriage goes wrong. He starts a new life as a radio psychiatrist at the fictitious radio station, KACL, where he gives advice to troubled callers with the help of his sarcastic and flirtatious producer, Roz Doyle, played by Peri Gilpin. Frasier lives at the Elliott Bay Towers, an upmarket block of penthouse apartments close to Seattle's Space Needle, with his father Martin Crane, John Mahoney, and Martin's English physiotherapist Daphne Moon, Jane Leeves. Frasier regularly visits Cafe Nervosa after his radio show, where he meets up with his equally ostentatious brother Niles Crane, played by David Hyde Pierce, who believes he practices real psychiatry rather than celebrity.
Oh, hello. Caught me with my hand in the biscuit tin. I'm Daphne Moon.
Frasier Crane, please come in.
Thank you.
This is my father, Martin Crane. Dad, this is Daphne Moon.
Nice to meet you. Oh, and who might this be?
That is Eddie.
I call him Eddie Spaghetti.
Oh, he likes pasta.
No, he has worms.
Here are 20 things you never knew about Frasier Crane, including which Friends star was meant to play Roz Doyle before Peri Gilpin, who the real callers to Frasier's fictitious radio station KACL are, and what on earth tossed salads and scrambled eggs have to do with anything. The ending theme tune to Frasier, Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs, was sung by actor Kelsey Grammer and written by Bruce Miller, who had been given strict instructions to omit any references to the show, including radio or psychiatry. Therefore, Miller used metaphors instead, such as "I hear the blues are calling," in reference to the callers who would be ringing into Frasier's radio show. Tossed salads and scrambled eggs were items that were mixed up, much like his patients and their problems. Frasier doesn't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again.
How is it those same taste buds can't tell the difference between me pot roast and me flank steak?
Considering you learned to cook in England, it's a wonder I can tell your flank steak from a braised tennis ball.
Kelsey Grammer played the character of Frasier Crane for a total of 20 years, on both the show Frasier itself, but also for the previous 9 years in Cheers. This means Frasier is the longest-running character on US primetime television, with 539 episodes, with only The Simpsons characters ahead, with 684 appearances. However, as Kelsey Grammer was actually on screen, we'll consider him as the top performer.
Well, I hope that cricket saw what I just did to this toasted almond.
At one point during Frasier's 11 seasons, the actor Jane Leeves, who plays Martin Crane's eccentric physiotherapist Daphne Moon, was the highest paid British woman on television in the United States. Kelsey Grammer was also briefly the highest paid actor on US television, earning $1.6 million per episode of Frasier. However, his position on the top spot was short-lived when Ray Romano began earning $1.7 million each episode for his successful sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond.
If I were you, I'd just lie to him. Tell him you have to work or you met a pretty girl.
Who's that pretty girl in the mirror there? What mirror where? Who could that attractive girl be? Which, what, where, who? Who?
Daphne?
Who?
Daphne? Daphne! Bedtime.
I used to be with the Light Opera Works.
Oh.
Yes, fine, and I used to be a fan dancer. Get out. Go to bed.
BB is the name of Frasier's manipulative agent BB Glazer, played by Harriet Sampson Harris. However, BB is actually the first name of the actor who plays Lilith Sternin. BB Noworth starred in a total of 12 episodes of Frasier and won 2 Emmy Awards for her appearances. BB Noworth played Lilith on Cheers from 1985 and then in Frasier until 2003. Sternin was originally meant to appear in just one episode in season 4, but the writers enjoyed writing her deadpan lines so much that they eventually incorporated Lilith into Cheers as a regular character. Lilith was a permanent character in Cheers during season 10 in 1991.
You know what? I just thought of something. For a while there, your daughters-in-law were Maris and Lilith. Whoa, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Frasier cast members Kelsey Grammer, David Hyde Pierce and John Mahoney have all voice acted in The Simpsons. Grammer is well known for playing Sideshow Bob since 1990, but in 1997 Hyde Pierce joins The Simpsons playing Sideshow Bob's brother Cecil. in an episode nicely named as Brother from Another Series. Then in 2007, John Mahoney was introduced as their father, Dr. Robert, who was sent to prison for 87 years in his storyline.
I'm gonna put this wreath up here.
What's the matter with Rudolph?
Well, Dad, I just think that Christmas decorations should be understated and tasteful.
Boy, I can't even have one thing that I want.
Dad, I'm sorry, but if I gave you one thing, God knows where it might lead.
During the 8th season of Cheers, Kelsey Grammer made a deal with the producers David Angel, Peter Casey and David Lee that after Cheers, they would go and do a new series together. They began developing their new show during the penultimate season of Cheers, in which Grammer expressed a disinterest in playing Frasier Crane again. David Angel, Peter Casey and David Lee began working on a new character for Grammer, this time a paralysed entrepreneur who operates his business from his apartment. The character would live with a nurse, who he would regularly clash with, which probably was the basis for Daphne Moon in Frasier. Whilst Grammer liked the new concept, Paramount Television didn't, and suggested that a spin-off show using Frasier as a character would be the best way to go. The producers agreed but wanted to distance their new sitcom from Cheers as much as possible, including physically relocating the character from Boston to Seattle.
Oh, you don't have to worry about the crane anymore. Poor thing choked to death this morning. They have no idea who would feed a bird a jawbreaker. Bye now.
Phoebe, is there any chance it wasn't you?
Oh, darling. There's always a chance.
When writing the new series together, the producers of Frasier wanted to set the story in a place as far away as possible from Boston, so they were free to explore new storylines, characters and themes, instead of having guest appearances from the old Cheers gang. They originally chose Denver before settling on Seattle, the city now synonymous with Frasier.
I have to talk to you about Niles. I got a call on the show today from a German woman whose husband is a fencing instructor that she suspects is having an affair with his wealthy new client.
Seattle's a big city. I'm sure there are a bunch of German fencing instructors, each one with dozens of students.
Yes, but are they wealthy students?
No, they're inner city kids trying to work their way out of the ghetto with nothing but a foil and a dream.
In Cheers, Frasier Crane said that his father was a research scientist who had previously died and that he was an only child. This was a continuity error from the producers, who weren't working on the show at the time. However, when Sam Malone, played by Ted Danson, the Boston bar owner from Cheers, makes an appearance in season 2 of Frasier, the producers decided to write in that Frasier had lied to impress his friends.
I'm not interrupting anything personal, am I?
Yeah, Niles, we just eloped. I'm your new mom.
Oh. Well, I'll be a son of a bitch.
The channel NBC gave the producers of Frasier a green light to hire actor John Mahoney to play Martin Crane without auditioning him. He had a strong bond with Jane Leeves, who played Daphne Moon, due to his family being from Manchester, England, where Daphne is meant to be from. Jane Leeves was actually born in East Grinstead in West Sussex in the south of England, but puts on a Mancunian accent in Frasier. Unfortunately, her northern accent is often criticised among British Frasier fans.
Oh, I've always been fascinated by these birds that can actually learn how to talk.
Oh, they can't talk. They just drill a few words into them at the pet shop, and then they never learn anything else after that.
Well, it is attractive, though.
Yeah, well, that's the way they are. Cute but stupid.
Cute but stupid.
Daphne, perhaps we should just leave these two alone. I sense a real battle of wits shaping up here.
Frasier was originally meant to be an only child, in keeping with his backstory from Cheers. However, the role of Niles was introduced specifically for David Hyde Pierce. Niles was created after a casting director realised Hyde Pierce's striking resemblance to Grammer when he first appeared in Cheers. At first, David Hyde Pierce was sceptical that Frasier wouldn't be a hit because of the similarities between Niles and Frasier's characters.
What's up?
I am. I'm as high as the Himalayas. If I were a city in Germany, I'd be Heidelberg. Is Dad home yet? No. Here's this opportunity to up my dosage.
Oh, Niles. You realize this is illegal.
I know all the symptoms I can expect to experience. I'm especially looking forward to something called the Munchies stage. It's where one enjoys bizarre food combinations. I'm thinking of pairing This Chilean sea bass with an aggressive Zinfandel.
Friends veteran Lisa Kudrow was originally chosen for the role of Frasier's flirtatious and sarcastic radio producer, Roz Doyle. However, producers decided that during rehearsals that the character needed to appear more assertive. Kudrow's performance obviously didn't align with the desired empathetic nature of Roz's character at KACL, so Peri Gilpin was hired. At the time, Kudrow was a well-known face from Friends, as well as Mad About You.
Well, this isn't so bad. Oh, it's not. Maybe we just got off on the wrong foot. Well, when you first started, I just thought you were kind of a bitch for ordering everyone around.
That's totally my fault. I have a tendency to be patronizing to entry-level employees.
Well, I was going to say something earlier, but when I heard your first show, I figured you wouldn't be here long.
Frasier audiences never actually see Niles' first wife, Meris Crane, but producers originally intended for her to be introduced after a few episodes. However, the wildly improbable excuses for her absence in earlier episodes were enjoyable to write, so in the end they continued to keep her off screen, even in some clever near misses. All of Meris Crane's exaggerated characteristics would make it impossible for any actor to portray her.
When the police ran her name through the computer, they found quite a little backlog of unpaid parking tickets.
What else would you expect from a woman who thinks her chocolate allergy entitles her to park in a handicapped space?
Despite almost every visitor saying how much they enjoy the view from Frasier's apartment at his Elliott Bay Towers penthouse, it isn't actually real. The view from Frasier's living room was really a photograph taken on top of a cliff in Seattle. The producers wanted Seattle's Space Needle to be more prominent on set, so decided to manipulate the geography just a little bit.
Frasier, this apartment is stunning.
Thank you.
The view, breathtaking. The art, perfect. The chair, hilarious.
The set for Seattle's fictitious radio station KACL was based on a real ABC radio studio in Los Angeles, and the broadcast technology such as mixing desks and phones that Frasier uses in his radio show were constantly being updated to correspond with new emerging technology in the industry.
Stay tuned for the news. Then next up, Bob Bulldog Briscoe and the Gonzo Sports Show. I never miss it. Yeah, right.
Despite Seattle being a huge plot point in Frasier, only one episode was actually filmed on location there. The 1000th show was broadcast on the 11th of November 1997, and it featured the Space Needle, the monorail station, and Pike Place Market. Niles, played by David Hyde Pierce, is nearly slapped with a fish when he and Frasier walk through the middle of the market and its famous fish-throwing tradition. The rest of the Frasier episodes, as well as Cheers, were filmed on Stage 25, Paramount Studios.
Do you hear what she said about me?
Yes.
That I got a flat nose, uneven boobs, and bristly legs. I mean, are they really that bad?
Not bad. Maybe a little cockeyed, but with a heavy sweater.
I was talking about my legs.
The callers to Frasier's KACL show were voiced by celebrities and added in during post-production, meaning crew members would fill in the roles during filming on set. Some celebrity callers into Frasier included Carrie Fisher, Gillian Anderson, Lily Tomlin, Eddie Van Halen, Ron Howard, Halle Berry, and Mel Brooks.
Who's our next call?
We have someone on line 1 who disagrees with your advice to Hank.
Oh, really? Hello, you're on the line.
Congratulations, Frasier, you've done it again.
Lilith? Well, Seattle, we have a celebrity of sorts on the line. This is my ex-wife, Lilith.
What do you mean by celebrity?
Oh, they know you.
The title cards for each episode of Frasier depict the Seattle skyline and the word Frasier underneath. However, for each season, the title text changes to a different colour, including blue, red, green, yellow, silver, and gold. They also incorporate a different moving element on the skyline each series, such as a hot air balloon, the light on top of the Space Needle flashing, and an aeroplane.
It is now the time in the ceremony for the rings. May I have them, please? Of course, it's a lot more effective when he's in his little tux.
There have been many rumours that a Frasier reboot has been planned for air in 2020 and beyond. In an interview in 2019, Kelsey Grammer did remark that the latest reincarnation of Frasier Crane will take place somewhere other than Seattle and will in some way pay tribute to John Mahoney, who passed away. The coronavirus pandemic may have gotten in the way, and new rumours suggest that 2023 might be the year to see the new Frasier reboot.
You took quite a few of those pills, didn't you? When I said to your father, Dr. Crane's in love with me, he said it's been going on for 6 years now. What did he mean by that?
Oh, that. He meant Niles.
What?
Niles. He's crazy about you.
Despite finishing in May 2004, Frasier remains as popular as ever and has been syndicated across the world. It plays daily on Channel 4 in the United Kingdom and daily in Australia, while it is shown on weekdays in Canada, Turkey, the Netherlands, Mexico, Serbia and Argentina.
I know you've always had special feelings for Daphne, and there's something I need to tell you.
I already know about you guys.
And you're okay with that?
I liked her when I was a little kid. I'm over it now. I mean, she's like 100.
She most certainly is not. It just burns you up that I got her.
Why don't you get us both some sherry?
The real star of Frasier was Eddie, Martin Crane's dog. He was a Parsons Jack Russell Terrier and was originally played by Moose, before later being played by Moose's son, Enzo.
Oh, Poppy!
Hello, Winnow Eddie! Did you have a good walk?
Actually, we've just been to the vets.
Oh, I had the cutest little dog when I was young named Mr. Oops. Every time we took him to the vet, he would say...
Meet Baby.
I love you.
You bought a bird. Well, I started to think how quiet it would be around here, and, well, she is lovely, and she's so affectionate.
I love you.
Oh. She says that all the time. I love you too, baby.
I love you, Grandma.